decided that he had had enough of the evil being around. And he's like nothing can exist in my kingdom that is not love. And so slowly all of the evil got like coagulated into a big giant blob as it was making its way out of the kingdom by the power of the Kree. But then some little jackass kid saw the big blob of evil and was like, I'll love you. And so all of that evil was going to go into the child. And everybody thought that would be a terrible idea to have it all concentrated into one kid. So they decided that they'd all love it a little.
I left-brained the shit out of it.
If you only love those who act like you and do the things that you want, even the pagans do that. It's Christian love when you love your enemies. Up to and including your enemies. That is Christian love.
And that's where I see the internet losing its mind, and it's like,
Father, forgive them, they know not what they do.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to Spatch and Ron Copperman out in the chat. Reminder that we're going to be doing a Northwestuary Blue Strawberry New Moon campout here up in the Northwest, out at Alta Lake State Park from 12 to 14 June. And he still hasn't confirmed for sure, but Grizz should be joining us. So hit me up. Let me know. We'd love to have you come out. It's shaping up that we're going to have a couple extra people beyond what we normally do. So it'll be a good time. And out of the show. Good evening, everybody. Afriel here. We hope you're feeling virtually not alone. Tonight we'll be talking a bit about deliberate non-observation. And I am probably going to die repeatedly because this boss was giving me trouble and I was running out of ammo and I'm not quite sure how to overcome it. And I saw that Noah was playing a little Armored Core 4 when I was poking around Steam. So we'll see if he comes in. Oh, howdy, Shane. Good to see you. A contest to have the most Baudrillarded up strawberry simulation. So, is this my anti-memetics division stream? Not quite. This is more my if you're in a leadership position, don't be somebody who grips too tightly, who who doesn't allow anybody to do anything outside of your attention. Which, since Shane's here, we were talking last night about some of that kind of stuff. But what I'm my work is not one that has that as an issue in terms of like never having a moment where you're not being observed. Okay, let me see here. I should probably try and figure this out. I was out doing yard work, so I didn't get a chance to make a script or to do any game prep, so this is just gonna be how it is. So when we were trying to do this last time, we were trying to fight a larger enemy that had shields, which was... We're gonna have to switch into this for sure. I think going with the submachine gun to start might be better. And then the laser rifle might be good for that. But yeah, for starting out we can do that. And then the active homing missile launchers were garbage. So we'll do 8-cell vertical missile launchers. And those should be good. And then let me check and see in the parts shop. Because there's bazookas, handguns, grenade launcher, laser rifle, plasma rifle. Charging it causes to fire scatter, producing multiple explosions. Well, we'll try and buy this one as well. And that way we'll have dual pulse guns. Oh, joy, Ron's church leadership. Alright. Let me make sure I have my assembly set up right. Submachine gun, dual 8. Okay, yep, that'll work. Okay. Reminds of Skibbity. So, one of the phenomenons that I saw a lot when I was in the Army was that you would have people who would try and make sure that they were always present, that nothing ever happened without them being aware of it. Howdy, Slack. And I find that that is also like the case for like the struggles that people have with parenting sometimes, where they want to make sure that they have complete and total awareness of everything that their kid is doing. And what I would put to folks is that your kids or like your subordinates or whoever else that it is that you're interacting with, they are going to have moments where you can't observe them no matter what. And if you work with them, and like train might be a little bit too strong of a word, but if you can help them okay. I might need to pay attention to the game. Wow. Well, there's one. And so what do I mean when I say that? You should try and set up situations where you are deliberately leaving them alone and then coming back and checking on the outcome. And letting them know that, hey, I am going to check on the outcome.
Code 1-5, intruder sighted. It's just one AC. Who are they with?
Gosh darn it.
We can look into that later.
Okay.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
We are really just messing this up by the numbers, huh? I need to dodge more. That's two. Okay. So rather than having the first instance where, because like coming from the military, just use that as the example here. You're going to have situations, like combat type situations, where you are not going to be able to.
Code 1-5. Intruder sighted.
Oh, jeez.
Just one AC. Who are they with?
Okay, I need to make sure I'm dodging.
Engaging.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
This is not going very well.
2 repair kits remaining.
Okay.
AP at 50%.
Code 7-8. Requesting backup. I can't get through to HQ.
The cavalry isn't coming. Wipe them out in 61.
AP
Oh,
at
man.
30%. One repair kit remaining.
Wow, got stunned out of it by that freaking missile. Okay. Howdy, Foxman. I saw that you were playing a little bit before I hopped on. Looks like I'm gonna need to get my muscle memory back again here. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and open it up because I have other parts of this that I want to talk about, specifically about how, like, the Ender's Game shower scene where the guys in charge end up kind of betraying Ender by making him have to kill a kid in order to protect himself. Like, that's the bad version of non-observation, but you want to give people a chance to function without you watching them before you have to do it. Like, you want to let them practice that so that they don't just immediately buck the system and just stop doing anything as soon as, like, kind of what Slack said about the sham shield. It's like, if the only times that you've been doing that have been giving them any leash is as sparingly as possible, then the moment they have any leash, then they're going to immediately sham out and not want to do anything. So that's the gist of it. And I can't play and talk at the same time. So if somebody else wants to come in and help me fill the dead air rather than me getting started with talking on something and then starting the sortie and then getting busy and not being able to do anything. All right, let's do this time. And let me also just set up my second screen so I can actually see the chat. Foxman got drawn back in. Nice. And yeah, Chris Howard, it is definitely a dive, duck, dip, or dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. Where he patches O'Houlihan.
Code 1-5. Intruder sighted. It's just one
Yo.
AC.
Howdy.
Who are they with?
We got Ron and we got Noah. Oh gosh. Can I please press shift?
Ron, how are you doing?
Better than you.
Better than me.
No, I'm teasing. Sorry. Closer.
It's okay if you're better than me, but I just want to know what has caused you to be better than me.
Oh.
No, I mean the dying thing. I mean,
Oh,
I like when you die. Don't get me wrong. But dude, don't give it to me, okay? Let me work for it. Let me enjoy the film.
Yeah, this one's gonna be a rough stream.
You know, it's like junk food. It's like when it comes to you, like all the time. It's just like if you die all the time, it's not good for me, okay? So let's get it together. Start killing people. You can do it. Release the Kraken. He's the killer. Keep motivating you, but you can do it. Man, do this. Don't do it for you. Do it for me.
Code 1-5. Intruder sighted.
That's my rant.
It's just one AC.
that's fair.
Who are they with?
And hello, Joe. It is good to see you.
It's good to see you too,
It's
Rob.
good to see you too, Ron.
By the way, I wasn't kidding about my church when you were talking. This subject really is interesting to me because I think it's done horribly in the church, and I think spiritually it maps as well. You can go there later. What's that?
I was stuck in a corner. Continue.
Oh yeah, no, I think spiritually, I totally. It reminds me of good parenting. Like if you give your kids some responsibility as they're growing up, or like gun safety as a kid. Like gun safety was not uncommon. Like classes, even everyone said, don't point the gun at the other kids.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the gun at the ground or up in the air. Make sure that blah blah blah. And what the boomers call common sense, I realize now it was just good teaching. It's on a variety of levels. So, what brought this subject into your mind? Because it is of interest to me.
Nothing particular. It was one of those just like backlog things that I had as a shower thought that I wanted to talk about at some point. So. And to answer Chris's question, it's not quite like eye averting in terms of don't look at my password, dude. It's more like I know my kids need the opportunity to play outside without me watching. Like because people behave differently when they know that they're being watched than when they know they're not. And if they're not given an opportunity to experience themselves not being observed by others, then they're not going to know how to handle it when they finally do get that opportunity.
Another word for this, and this is a joke, but it's church kid at college.
Yep.
Code 1-8. All units deploy.
Or protected kid, however you want to play it.
Yep. Well, if you don't know what people are like without, it's not just a parents thing. It's also if you don't have the church guiding people's behavior, if you're amongst the heathens, then how is it going to work out?
Code 3-1C. We've taken critical damage.
One repair kit remaining.
I kind of want to flip the script on you.
Mhm.
Because you shared, this is part of your testimony when you found out when you went to college, and I think you found out that people can be evil.
Yep.
I think it's interesting. Oh, that's interesting because it's not only church kid going crazy at college, but maybe the protected kid who realizes who's never been taught about the people being, some of them as the big bad wolf, or just.
Well, it's about giving that kid, if you are that kid's parent, deliberately giving them the opportunity to then go and experience that and understand. And yeah, it's like not all heathens are bad. I'm talking more about the sorts of folks where they are deliberately hurting other people with their social powers, so to speak.
They like it, or they're sociopaths. I knew one. What do you call someone who just doesn't care who they sleep around with or use? Sociopath?
Sorry, what was the
just a
description?
Well, I knew a guy. He'd sleep around, he slept with as many girls as he could, and one day he wanted to get rid of his car. It was a sports car he couldn't afford or something. And he called me, man, you're my best friend. Can you help me get rid of my car? And then I was like, no, Steve, I can't do that, And then some years later, I heard he called every guy in the friend group in college, and he used the term, you're my best friend, will you help me get rid of my car?
Yeah, because he learned that best friend is something that is a magic word that gets people to do what you want them to do.
No repair kits remaining.
Not say more because
30%.
we're tapping a well here. So when you think about this for a second, it's
There's 5. Skank says this also applies to the kid who was raised by hippies who falls in with the college Republicans.
well, wait a second. All right, wait a second. I challenge you. Prove it. I'm kidding, but I think I understand what you're saying. That's interesting. That's a curveball.
Well, it's any time that you have a situation where a kid is engaging in social participation as a way of rebelling against their parents.
Oh, I'm not talking about that. But yeah,
Well,
I see what you're saying.
What were you trying to get at? And yes, Slack, that was definitely a Freer nod of, like, it's a magic word that gets them to do the thing that I want them to do. Why wouldn't I use it?
You're my best friend, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Have you heard any of the discussions that Annie Crawford has had with Jordan Hall or any other people in the corner?
I have not followed her too closely, no.
Well, I think that she would probably have a lot of input on this that would be, like, specific to the exact thing that you're bringing up. But one of the things that she talks about that seems relevant that I've heard her speak on is this idea of knowing what a person is and how that is really the starting point of an education. And what a classical education that she's an expert in teaches and I should say Christian education is that the person is this thing that is unfolding according to God's design. And so one of the goods that comes from the right way of orienting towards somebody that it sounds like you're describing with the intentional, what are you calling it? Intentional what?
Deliberate non-observation.
Deliberate non-observation allows for the unfolding to happen that can only happen in certain domains of independence.
Yes.
And it's not that observation is not going to occur. It's that there is a time where the development happens out from under the looking glass.
Yes.
And there's something specific about the role of the parent or the care, the person who cares, whether that's the caretaker or somebody might consider themselves a teacher or educator. All those things are, there's a lot of baggage connected to them. So I kind of don't really like using those terms. But you can imagine as a parent, you really care about your kid and you want what's best for them. And you know that this is a thing that you need to do is let them be their self out from underneath your gaze so that they can act independently and develop a little bit independently.
Yes.
And they, throughout their entire life, they're not even going to know necessarily that it's different in the way that you know it's different. They're just behaving and living and experiencing life, and your absence is affecting their behavior, but they might not even necessarily be conscious of the way that it affects their behavior. One of the examples that I heard of this is some NBA coach, targeted specific amounts of time for his players to spend alone time on the court. And it was a significant advantage to their development because as much as you might think that at that level they didn't have any insecurity about trying new things in public, they do. And so by giving them alone time on the court, they were able to practice in a sort of uninhibited way that even they themselves might not have known was limited by the eyes of either the audience or their teammates or whatever.
Yeah. We don't know the degree, or we're often unaware of the degree to which what we are doing is a performance for the other people around us.
Well, and before anybody jumps to any conclusions that's not healthy, it is absolutely very healthy. It's just that it can't be always on. It's very important to exist in a variety of different environments, and with and without different things present, so that you can be what you need to be within that domain. You and I experienced that in our conversation last night. There was a way that we could interact with each other when my son was present and when he wasn't, and both were very healthy and very important for us to be able to do. And yet they can't share the same space and be the same thing.
Yeah. No, Ron, you got thoughts?
I'm liking this. I'm trying to ferment something. Okay, this is relevant. This subject is relevant kind of to me at my church. And also spiritually, like there's someone recently left, a young lady, spiritually gifted, really has contact with God. And she's like, I met up with her during the graduation and graduated. And she said that it was okay to it was only the pastor and a few at the church who would have a quote-unquote prophetic word for anybody. Couldn't come through anyone else. The moment she said it, I was like, dang, she nailed it. And I don't know what you call that. 'Cause it's not even, it's like in any good group where someone has to be the alpha, or and this, it's not healthy. It's not wrong to have someone who's in charge and someone at the top. It's, for me, with this conversation's kind of, I don't know, just bringing it to proper framing is, it's like just dealing with improper hierarchies almost. It's just like when you have a tyrannical boss let's say you have a good company or a good church because of one person, but when they leave, it crumbles. And that's what this, and then how do you fix that? Like, how do the guy on the bottom of the totem pole, how does he talk to the top person, the Thunderbird, and go, you shouldn't be doing this, because I really like how you guys are.
Well, and how do you do that in a way that actually gets through to them and that they listen to you even though you are in a position below them? Like, that's the part it's really hard for a lot of people to have humility about, like, what do you know? You're just a peon. You don't actually understand what you're griping about. You don't understand the things that I'm having to do or the difficulties I'm struggling with.
And until you understand, I understand people are going to keep leaving as they have been for a while.
Yep.
So how do you, it's not so much, I've heard the term punching down or punching up, like when you're putting someone from the top, putting someone down, or how someone from the bottom complaining about the top. I don't want to do that. But all right, so what I'm doing is I find new believers that are somewhat struggling, that I think are really, they just need a little bit of encouragement and direction to go in the right way. And I've seen myself be useful to quite a few people, or just a few people, but really effective. Just, like just a little encouragement, a little direction, and they're off to the races, and they move on. And that's only strategy so far that I think where I'm staying in my lane and making the be the change within my little circle, but I'm like I'm bummed for the church, the body as a whole. So how can something change without it being a mutiny or a showdown or a you suck and this is why?
Well, I'd first ask, can things change? Because I don't think that's a guarantee. Like, I think that
Right.
I would like to believe that every situation can be salvageable, but it's also one of those, like, once you get to a certain point with a particular chessboard, like, unless the other person has no idea what they're doing, there's like, even a grandmaster can't make up for the difference on the board versus a 1,000 elo person.
Right. So I might be at that place. Let's say, man, I guess because this guy that I'm dealing with, he's a buddy of mine. But he's close to 70. Like, he ain't changed. Like he's
stuck in his ways pretty much.
Yeah. And I hope I'm not just. I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to be that bad. And I'm not called to leave this place it's for a variety of reasons, whereas others have been. But I don't want it. I just don't want to be like, it's not quite the Titanic sinking, but it's definitely not as good or healthy as it can be. I just don't want to ignore it and be okay. Yeah. So what do you do with that? Because in the military, have there ever been changes, and how did those come about? Or any other situations where there's been changes?
Well, I think that's
that's
pretty true generally. Is like you have a situation where you are fairly certain that you can more clearly than whoever it is that's in charge of you see what's going on, and it's like, how do you convince them I did not need to die there? How do you convince them that even though you are not as far ahead as them on certain dimensions, that you still have something that's worth saying and something that could potentially save them from themselves and save them from a whole lot of heartache?
And
I'm basically just restating your question back at you, by the way, which I'm sorry for that.
No, that's cool. No, that's reasonable. Because I need to. It helps. It helps. No, it's old school Pentecostal residual gunk that is the underlying subcarrier of the culture that I'm dealing with. And what the problem is that it's housing a real encounter and people with real talent and insights and giftings. And I want to have the people grow and develop. And it seems like the culture cocoons or suffocates people, or even worse. But I think it's maybe not the culture; it's just a few people in control. Actually, that's one person. It's the pastor. They've said they've had control issues. They've had all this, OCD. They were self-made men, if that makes any sense. Like they got to where they're at by the sweat of their brow, and so they own the place. it, so how do you deal with the owner? And tell them, listen, bud, you're kind of sucking at some of the things of life. You ought not be this way. The only ways I've seen it is usually if there's somebody that can speak into their life kindly at a moment that really, it almost hurts, but it doesn't destroy them. It's like, that's what friends do. Like, your breast stinks, or you've got broccoli, this, or have a bad attitude, and you have a moment where you can reflect on it, and then get better. How do I tell my friend that he's just being a jackass sometimes? He's one of the, in private, he's one of the kindest people you'd ever want to be. In public, he has to be in control. And that's the rub. Nice guy, lousy business model, but, business acumen. Understand. And when the whole subject about when someone is let loose, no, not let loose, when you're actively not looking, when you're allowing someone almost to fail, flourish your tail. But I think that is so freaking healthy. And I don't know how to integrate it into the people above. But maybe having this conversation, I can.
Well, might jog some ideas.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. So what do you think? I'm laying you out the situation.
The problem that I have encountered is that the particulars of this kind of a thing are so narrow that it is borderline impossible to give actionable advice without knowing exactly what it is that you're trying to deal with.
What's okay?
Do you mind if I chime in here a little?
Go for it.
Oh no, not at all. I'm just open.
I think that I certainly appreciate the caution that is, I'm assuming, behind the awareness or the concern that it be that you not advise somebody without very, very specific detail and experience and all of that kind of stuff. Even then, I think it's hazardous. The thing that kept ringing out to me in all of the sort of back and forth was the need for voluntary or involuntary dying to occur. The defense, the habit, the holding on to control or identity that is causing that is presenting the evidence of something that is motivating us on our receiving end to want to help or maybe even protect ourselves is like the change that needs to occur. We are able to see that we want it to occur in the other person. And I think that's fair. I don't think it's an incorrect assessment. But what it means is they're going to have to die. And either we participate in showing them an alternative life, a way to live that they are perfectly comfortable then putting the old person down. Like, oh gosh, I don't need that anymore because I don't even identify with that. I'm happy to put that to death. Or to the degree that we have any relational equity or power within their domain, we can threaten them and we can say, I have the ability to cause this aspect of you to suffer. And I'm on the verge of doing that. And then you might present the alternative under like pressure that here's this way I'd like you to try. And I think that you'll prefer it as well. But I'm tempted to make it so that you will prefer it by force.
If I may, and I apologize for interrupting. I would like to throw a variable at you because I like what you're saying. If I put on any pressure, it will blow me worse than anybody.
That's
it
super,
does-
super common.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to put that in there.
Well, the thing is, in so many cases where you're the one who notices, it's because you have invested heavily in relationship with this person. And in doing, because you're, I'm assuming, operating with integrity, you've exposed yourself to being violated. And so it would be great if the door swung both ways, but it doesn't. And so you're in a position of vulnerability and exposure that you engaged in good faith. And so you have a different set of liabilities in the way that you interact. Now, that may mean that you have some dying to do too.
Well, let's say it's me that needs to die. I'd probably put me as the problem. I'm just learning that, and I'm not trying to be pious or snarky. I'm like, if I go that route first, even if there's a problem, I can change. It's kind of like President Foxman putting in the comments, remember that you can jump to avoid the sweep attacks. Like, at what point can I... All right, no, I'm just throwing it out at you, just because when you said that about the dying to self, I'm like, or for them, I wonder how much of this is my bad attitude. I want to be careful of that.
Ron, of all the people that I know, I would not say that you have a bad attitude problem.
You don't know me, Afriel. Wait till we get on the paintball court, buddy. No, I appreciate that. Thanks. I just want to be careful. I just want to. It's just the reason I'm being so cautious is in the past, one of my buddies had profound problems, and the way I handled it was God told me to get away from him and love him as a brother at a distance, and I said no. I'm gonna do this hand to hand and eyeball to eyeball, and
I'll do it my way.
Exactly. It was a picture perfect explosion, and I was the one holding the grenade. Did I just lose Afro?
He did fade out there for a second. Looks like he's back. He was singing. He was going to do it his way. And the thing I was going to bring in here, which I think allows for an appropriate sort of humility and responsibility, because really the only thing that we have even limited power over is our own actions and attitudes, and even that is really limited. But the question that I would want to ask as I'm trying to be humble and trying to not control other people's lives or decisions or make myself dependent on their decisions and feelings, it would be, what would my dying in a given domain bring life to? Because ultimately the only reason to do the dying is to give life to something else. And so what is my dying in service to? Because if my dying is in service to not upsetting somebody or some other kind of lesser negative, then I would try to find something more worthy than that. Protecting your friend from self-destruction certainly is a good reason not to go in with the sort of brute force of like relational, whatever they call it, not even tough love, but like confrontation is just not, especially in this upcoming generation, confrontation does not seem like it's their jam. Like they break. And and we need to be very considerate of that. I don't want to be the guy who broke somebody in my effort to care for them and, you know, show them a different way.
This is
Also,
a boomer. I'm dealing with a fellow boomer who is grizzled. So, but I think, you know, it's funny, to be honest, he could be pretty fragile on the inside, now that you mention it. That's interesting. And also when you said die, okay, so if it's not worth dying for, I'd say, for the lack of a better word, it's an institution. It's been going on for maybe 30 some years. And people, it does do some good. Is it at times okay just to walk away saying, I can't change this?
I think that
And-
the only things worth dying for are persons. And it hopefully there are a lot of persons, but like even when there's this whole Sodom and Gomorrah thing, like it only takes a person or two to make the whole city worth saving. But if you can't even find one person, and it may be that what you need to do is go in and pull them out and let the institution die and save that person.
I think there are plenty of good people in the church, the institution. It's really the staff I have a problem with. The people are great. It's just a few. The captain of the ship is the one that I'm like, not bad all the time, but this bad enough most of the time for me, not others.
You have
And I'm
no
like-
idea that you are singing my song so loud right now. Like Afriel knows, because I
Yep.
shared some stuff with him last night. But like, if people knew the degree to which I had just heartache and reason for, just distrust and disgust of the most senior person within the, I don't call it the church because the church is so much bigger than any congregation, but the fellowship that I am most associated with, the group of people that I've been baptized into as a church family, that singular person who I didn't have to deal with for the longest time because we are kind of a satellite, is now back in sort of having influence in my fellowship, my congregation again, and it's just so painful because of our history and the suffering and injustice that happened as a result of his decision making,
So,
and he hasn't changed.
So, okay. All right. So I feel like I'm playing pokey here. So I will throw in controlling with closet domestic abuse within two generations. Kind of getting dealt with, but it's also kept behind closed doors that I accidentally found out about because I had to help one of the kids. And really, it's like when you said you had problems in your church, and I'm like, okay, instead of me just stacking my chips of like, oh yeah, my crazy against your crazy, let's just say they're equal stacks. So the question is, what positive, okay, how do I die properly to help them change, or do I just do it not for them but for the ones within the community that I can help? Like does that mean like the kids, like I'm really good with helping
Well,
the younger.
the thing that I'm considering, because I'm struggling with this same dilemma myself, because we have 20 years old relationships within this fellowship that are great, like with wonderful people that I hope to die with. And so somehow there are members within this messed up group that are that get it. How it is that this person is in a position of leadership and doesn't get it, I can't compute that. Also, the influence that they're having, and mine is sort of further complicated because the only reason that I'm having to sort of interact with this person again is because of a change in like the person who was the pastor at the satellite church that I'm most like that I go to. And I mean, I hate to say I go to it, like that I interact with throughout the week. Like they took a job somewhere else, and partly because of this strange relationship as a result of this other guy's character that has had consequences as bad or worse than you're talking about.
All right.
And
Are they
let me just
sleeping
finish
with-
the close the loop here. The
apologize.
reason why I'm going on this is because I'm wondering, I'm asking myself, and so now asking you, what is it about this group that makes it your home? Is it your home?
Okay, I think I have an answer, but what do you think it is?
I'm not going to answer for you. For me, the thing that makes it my home is the relationships. And what's wonderful is that I have been able to, and I don't know if this was God's design or what, but it might have taken I suppose it's only 15 years with the group that I'm with right now, for the relationships that I've built to be resilient enough to handle me attending a different church.
Right.
And so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I will be able to be in Christ with them, to be part of the body that is Christ, and not be subject to the authority that they too are straining under the weight of. Only they are not straining in the way that I am because they haven't been injured by that person personally over time and have all of these undealt with, unresolved sort of debts. Like
Okay.
if I punched you in the face and never said I was sorry, that's just your and my relationship is going to be different than your relationship with the guy you didn't punch in the face. He's going to be like, oh, I think he's a great guy. Well, he hasn't punched you in the face, so.
Shane's got issues that are just now coming to light, and at this point in the game, I think I need to run away. I'll go back. No. No, actually, okay, so you're actually describing it correctly, what the body is and how it really should work. It doesn't matter what church you go to. It's you develop the relationships, and the people that you know, trust, and like and love are the ones that you go up to before you jump ship and go, hey, listen, I think you set up the relation. Because I've done this, I went up and made friends with these people, and when I left, they're like, so you're going to a different church? Yeah, but when are we going to go and get Mexican? And friends are friends. It's, I have seen, and I do understand what you're saying when you leave a church, how it changes relationships with people a lot. But if you can make...
It's going to be a huge cost because all of the shared experience that you have throughout the week of being together, going through the liturgies together, like it will be a huge change. And I haven't even committed to not going to my church. I'm just going to start going to another one too. And partly because I'm still holding out hope that that whoever is employed to replace the last person that managed to keep our satellite group significantly enough insulated from the negative influence of the head guy, maybe that'll happen again. maybe I can tolerate it. I don't know.
Oh, are you? So what I'm getting is your satellite didn't take the hit from the senior pastor, whatever virus he's carrying.
Yeah, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So
Now it does bleed into it, like the whole culture of the
So-
entire. Yeah,
can I pick into this a little bit because
please.
this is within my church. I'm not boasting, but it's been bad. You know, we deal with anyhow. So you're probably not going to shock me at all. So instead of dealing with the pastor, I would just start shoring up your friends, the relationship with your friends that you've known for a long time that are basically extended family, and start making time for them and with them and communicate with them. And
Yeah, that's just not a thing. Like, because it just is what it is. We always do that. We always have done that. I can't do any more than I do. It is.
Oh no, that's good. No,
Yeah.
that's great. No, then here's the thing. Then if you're friends with these people and extended family, then when you split, you'll still have that. Because I've done it twice actually, and I left the church once, and actually it was God telling me to leave. It's when the pastor's daughter got popped for adultery, and so that the church blew up, and then a couple years later, I came back. And then, what was it, the second time, the pastor had some issues, and I split, and then the church burnt down, and I came back to support the people in the trauma of that, and found myself back. And during the times when I left, the people that I was friends with, genuinely close to, we never stopped communicating or hanging out. And if you have to leave because the lead pastor is sleeping around, embezzling, being a wingnut of some sort, protect your heart. The one thing I didn't do in my life that I really regret is respect myself spiritually. It's like common sense. Like, I think we're born with it. And I put people ahead of my walk with God, and it destroyed me. And God gave me a lot of warning shots. Have you talked with God about any of this? Have you prayed? And I'm asking you, and I really do mean that. Have you asked God what you ought to do?
Oh, constantly. And before it leaves my mind, I want to loop this back to the marquee and just how important and sort of preserving of so many people's faith it was that our satellite was able to operate out from under the thumb of the one guy. We were able to thrive and have an entirely different culture of non-hierarchical family order.
So okay, I'm taking it you're married with kids, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so have you and your wife prayed about this yet?
Constantly.
Okay, so now I'm going to give you this is my Obi-Wan Kenobi moment. So I have one question for you, young Padawan. The question is, what did God say?
Well, so far, he's been saying, hold, 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 hold. And here we are, like 15 years in, still holding. and he still hasn't said let go. He's just said it's okay to go, but it's not okay not to stay yet. You still have to stay. You can go, but you also have to stay. And so that's bizarre. And I think that the reason is because there is this sort of intervention that I am sort of almost legally part of, that is going to involve a lot of people coming to terms with some of the consequences of their different ways of thinking and behaviors. And as miserable as it will be to be in that room as people are confronted with their sin, and they're having just shoved it under the bed instead of having dealt with it.
Okay, so if I may.
Go ahead.
So at my church, I've had to deal with, and this is just the last year, adultery. No, wait, sorry, not adultery. One youth suicide. No, nothing. The youth did not commit suicide, but there was there were two on staff. Their kids were thinking about suicide. That got dealt with in a good way. Case of domestic violence that I stumbled into that got outed. What else is there? I tell you what, it's a lower income church, so there's always drama. So it's not like, but this was in the staff. And then I found out that the pastor had been domestically violent as well. So it was him and his daughter. It's like a generational thing. I'm like, okay, you got my attention, so I'm dealing with that. And then what else is there? There's always that alcohol and drugs and stuff like that, but that's on some of the periphery. So that's just this year, and it's not always crazy, but it's had its share. So what I've learned is, and I was the guy who was not involved with anybody. It's a family-owned church. I'm not family. I won't inherit the kingdom. I'm safe for everyone to talk with. And then I ask them honest questions like, how are you? And then I always go for biblical. If they talk with me, I give biblical answers and then look for them to do something biblical, like, well, anyhow, in any given situation. And it's not always easy. And I stick my nose in people's business, but first I'll ask them if I'm allowed to do it, and then after, if they say yes, I'll go for it and start really giving them my opinion and help. Are you being that guy in your church?
I'm not entirely sure what you mean. I am not interested so much in
But you fix something. Have you ever seen the movie?
My concern is to care for and protect those who I am aware are in, harm's way. And I think sounds a little bit too heroic.
No, it's not. It's just you're being a janitor. You're cleaning up someone else's mess.
Well, it's not that doesn't happen, but I certainly don't see that as my purpose. And I don't know that it would be easy for me to claim a singular purpose. But I do love people, and I do speak up when somebody says something that sounds false. And so I do find myself in situations where somebody I care about is being treated strangely by somebody who who is in a position of authority within the congregation. And so I'll probe a little bit to see if there's a threat there. And sometimes there isn't, sometimes there is. And in a weird generic way, there's always a threat if somebody in leadership identifies themselves as being a leader instead of a loving brother who may have important value to share. Because then they get this weird, like, defensive posture. They have to be perfect. They have to hide their sin. They have to have positions of power and authority, and all of that just is horrible and damages the potential for real loving relationship. And so I kind of try to stay out of their way, but I'll get in their way if they're getting ready to hurt somebody that I care about and doesn't have the sort of assertive personality that I do to say, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's because are we talking like what kind of sin are we talking here? Like, are we talking biblical, like top 10, or just manipulation, control, ego? You know, the stuff that's just seems to be rampant within, I think, any organization.
Well, I think that the biggest sort of concern that I would levy against, like, the most influential people in the institution is that they have the cover-up was worse than the crime. And so they are not the criminal, they are the person who hid the crime.
So what was the crime?
You could, put it in your top 10s.
Oh,
It's and I'm not even entirely. I'm only aware of the ones that I'm aware of. But because of the institution's willingness to bury crimes, I'll bet you there's bodies all over the place.
well, no, because actually at that point is when, even if you're the bottom of the totem pole, like I was talking about, you can't mess around with that, because then that's actually on you. Like, if I know my friend's sleeping around, now she
Gabrielle, I'm so sorry
honestly, this is the best thing that could have happened, because now I can just focus on trying to beat this stupid game because I keep dying over and over. So you guys are having a great time.
No, I appreciate. Yeah, thanks, Af. I do appreciate it. It's
The whole point of this is making a place for other people too, not just for me to espouse my own thoughts and ideas.
Yeah, you know what, you're right, Shane. I want to make sure we're not hijacking, but this is interesting because just today I met a lady who left my church, and she's thriving, and it's because of the control and manipulation, which basically it goes back to Afro's beginning point, where if somebody who's hyper controlling doesn't allow people to grow, and in that environment, sounds like a similar environment to mine, that's when shady stuff gets hidden. Top 10 sins. And I'm not opposed to dealing with things quietly if it's done properly. Like if someone's sleeping around.
But what's the reason for dealing with them quietly, though? That's the...
Well, I mean, not taking them publicly, like a scarlet letter moment. Like,
right.
If they're...
But if the point is that you're trying to not embarrass the church, right? Like, it's one thing if you want to, like, if somebody sinned and they're trying to make up for it, but it's an entirely different thing if the church is saying, oh, this is a threat to the perceived legitimacy of our church because we have sinners who go here. Oh, perish the thought.
Right. There's another thing that is also sort of valid but often used in service of what you're talking about, Afriel, and that is that there are often minors or sort of people that would be victimized just by being known that they were the one violated.
Yep.
And so to protect those people's identity, I think that it is important to keep that private.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean that you can't speak very openly about the generic nature of what happened and deal with it.
Yep.
And talk as a congregation, hey, this thing happened within our congregation and it can't happen again. What could we do to be on guard against that?
So, Shane, so my question, oh, I'm sorry, because Afriel, if you ever respond,
Nope, that's good.
Okay, no, that's cool. Like I'm real comfortable in these areas. Did someone sleep around or embezzle? Because oh, and by the way, to answer your question, why I don't want to blow up people sometimes, if they're willing, let's say someone has an affair. Now, let's say, and I'm like, you sit them down, like you get them out of position, and then you figure out if you protect the community. I mean, like physically, like make sure there's no predators there, and then you get people help. And I'm not speaking with someone who has a lot of experience with this going well. Usually it's people get discovered and then it just blows up. There's a guy named Mike Bickle who ran International House of Prayer in Kansas City, Missouri. He got popped for messing with some of the girls. And I have no problem with executing him publicly. Like, he did it, he hit it, he's out. And that's cool. Like, I'm not, it's just, what I'm looking at now, listening to you, Shane, is if someone and also when my friend Amy, when she hit the rough road, she outed herself and she stepped down. Like, it blew up. So I guess I'll backpedal a little bit and say how it is dealt with in the church. I will leave that up to a consensus of the authority in the church body, the Sanhedrin or the magisterium or whatever. But getting them out of position and out of hurting people is number one. But in my case, the girl leaving, it's not a sin issue, it's a control issue, which is a real problem, and it's more akin to hyper manipulation, which is evil and wrong, but it's not quite sin. Whereas it sounds like, Shane, your situation, either someone's embezzling money, they're sleeping around, and I'm guessing it's sleeping around, or because I'd have to agree with Afriel on that one. Yeah, you don't keep that one private. You're like, no, they got popped, they're out. Because then, you can, if I've had people in my church, actually, yeah, one of them, he was the principal of the school that's no longer in business because he was messing with the girls, teenage girls. Mm-hmm. And he went to prison, and I'm glad for it. So I think if there's sin in the camp, you don't mess with it, because the girls that got affected by this guy, one of them, I think, OD'd on, they all got messed up, but I think one of them OD'd on drugs later on. So, when you say God is keeping you there to clean things up, yeah, I think
it's not there to clean things up, even though I suppose my participation in the process will. Well, this is the thing. If I was to just say I'm done, then the process that is in motion would stop.
Oh wow. So okay, so you're actually So you're not some okay. I'm okay. So then there is a work for you to be done,
Yep.
and it's to to help the body heal by being righteous, by having righteous people to come in and judge properly, so that things can get sorted out. That's pretty cool. No,
Yeah.
that's
There's no hope that it's gonna get any better, and that's
no.
you know. But in a certain sense, there must be some hope that it's gonna get better, or the Lord would have said, "Just bail, dude."
Yeah, well, and also I'll give you this, and this is from experience. Um, don't piss God off, or don't. And I'm talking about the people like my buddy. I'm not buddies with him anymore. He eventually he got the babysitter pregnant,
Oh my
but
gosh.
oh yeah. No, yeah. But before that all went down, he got busted with her like at a Walmart by his wife. Like they were hanging out together. He like God sets things up where he reveals it, but I would rather
The world according to Garp.
well, I don't yeah, I tell you, and the thing I guess what I'm saying is yeah, God will clean things up eventually, but what's even worse is when he doesn't and people get hurt. And if you're there to help them,
Yeah, it's very, very clear in the Bible that if you didn't sound the alarm, you're culpable.
yeah, right. So do other people know about the jive that has occurred, and or is it just you?
Um, well, we are very plugged in to like all of the different um, whatever you would call them ministries and such. So we've had the advantage of just being able to tell the people the very specific information that they would need to know in order to not be for us to have done what we needed to do to to have a clear conscience in that regard. And but with these different I don't know what you call them, structural leadership employment changes that have happened, we no longer have the access and influence that we once did. So um, so it's just weird. I don't know if you've ever had a like a security clearance,
Yeah,
and it was specific to a certain job, and then when that
yeah,
job was over, you no longer need that clearance, so you don't have it
yeah,
anymore.
right.
And it so that's kind of the situation that we're in. You know, the our security clearance was contingent upon our relationship with the previous um, leaders that we were very much endured to and still are. But now they're on their way to a healthier satellite across the water, and so we're now kind of left with the old guard that we had this luxury of not having to interact with, and now they're the point people that we have to interact with if we you want to do anything, and that is
So,
just super uncomfortable.
so here's the thing, like, because like I'm also like I have extensive experience in jail ministry, youth jail, um, and it's so weird. So, is there sin in these people you're dealing with? And I'm talking about like sleeping around or stealing money.
um there is no prosecutable crime that the leaders themselves are responsible for. There are questionable just like elements of how they dealt with certain disclosures at certain times. But I am certainly not interested in bringing in some kind of legal counsel or something like that in these matters. It just wouldn't do any good. It wouldn't be good. It would just be
I'm kind
bad.
of right. Okay. Was it financial? Because I'm just going with Shakespeare.
It's a whole
Is it-
basket of stuff that just has to do with I don't know why a detail would help you in this.
Well, no. The reason is I'm going for very okay. I'll give you an example. I'll talk about me in my church. There is no sin I can at this time complain about. I am just complaining. Okay, so it's like my pastor's not doing what I want, and it's not going the way I want, and I'm talking about me dealing with me. And that's but in the past, there has been domestic violence and fornication, adultery. Those are things I'm not complaining. That's just wrong. That's so. And then let me think. Okay, and I don't know if there's in between land.
Well, so even what you're saying, like a lot of people come to the faith having repented from some pretty hideous decisions. in life.
No, yeah. I'm talking
And
about
so the only issue that I have is when somebody doesn't appear repentant.
Well, I'm talking about and I'm treating this almost like a crime scene. If I understand repentance, and I'm cool with that, I agree with you. I'm talking about someone who's actively in ministry, in the place of authority, who's acting illegally, morally, and spiritually.
Yeah, I think that there are some sort of low-level sort of derelictions of duty, but the kinds of things that are worthy of like sort of scorn and moral condemnation are in the process of being repented for.
So there was sin.
Yes, and it's strange because in like I said, in so many ways, the sins of leadership had more to do with covering up other people's crimes than committing the crimes themselves. But that still is a moral betrayal of the trust of the congregation.
The domestic violence that's being kind of swept under the rug at my church. And so I understand. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to all the parties. Now, the one person I haven't gone to yet is the pastor, and I don't need to because I've gone to everybody around him, and everybody is actively engaged in dealing with the domestic violence case. And I feel like I've done my job in protecting the girl that was victimized and getting it resolved. As far as my position goes, because I'm just a schmo there. I'm just friends with the family. But there's a part of me that wouldn't mind blowing it up, like going public. But I'm like, no, let me just leave this alone for now and let them work it out. So within your situation, I kind of understand what you're saying. Like, something shady happened. There was a sin. It sounds like you're saying that the people involved with the sin are repenting. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I hope. And then it sounds like the people who knew about it didn't handle it quite well. And
not that it matters, but I think it's a little bit different than that. I am not clear on whether the people who committed the sin are repentant. I'm only clear on the apparent repentance of the people who covered it up, who are now going through the process of uncovering it and digging through it and trying to make good on their
Right.
historical error.
Okay, so the people who got popped, who are like patient zero for this thing, if they're not repentant, I hope they're not in a place of power, because that's like a dirty needle at a hospital. Because they're going to be, spiritually, they're going to be, if you are unrepentant and you're spiritually active, you can spread your cooties.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
just
really
my-
bizarre thing in a modern Protestant church because so few people, and this is one of the reasons why the fellowship of my satellite church is so attractive to so many people, is because we really do care about each other and know each other and like interact with each other, as, just, we're discussing each other's challenges in marriage and we're interacting with each other's kids and we're very much involved with each other. But that's uncommon in even in churches, even though I don't think it at all should be. But we're kind of unique in that there is as much intimacy in our fellowship as there is. And so when I go to the branch, or whatever you want to call it, the congregation that isn't our satellite group, and I see all these people who are just kind of spectators coming to see the TED Talk and the Coldplay concert, I'm just sort of disgusted by it. And it is what allows for those hidden character traits to remain hidden. Like, there's no way my friends that I'm hanging out with every day could have a secret, like, life. They may have secret sins that I don't see between the times that we hang out, but I would see evidence of a second life, But when you only see somebody every Sunday or every other Sunday, you have no idea who they are.
All right. Well, then let me give you my opinion. And this is, I'll work at worst case scenario first. Get tight with your friends that you know, because it sounds incredibly cool, and I really do like it. Just get tight with them, and because if something hits the fan and things blow up, things shatter, and then you just have as many of your close friends and as you hold on to them and you get through it together. That's if it blows up, whether for whatever reason. I'm working this thing backwards. It sounds like you have Shangri-La, and I've seen golden times at my church way back in the past, and I think, okay, you got something good, so it doesn't have to blow up, and I'm not saying it will. How do you as a body, how do you navigate dealing with infection? And the infection would be those people, whatever they did. If they're not repentant, you gotta figure
Well,
out.
let me broaden the aperture here a little bit, because the culture that we have was very much contingent on the leadership that we had. And now that leadership is gone, the culture that bred the disconnected, contaminated, is now like potentially what replaces what we had. Well, leadership matters.
I agree.
And so I'm in limbo. I'm waiting to see, like, because the person who's going to be in charge of replacing who we had, who left because they didn't like not exclusively, but significantly, because it was so difficult to always be in opposition to their senior.
Oh crap! So basically, did the orcs win the fight?
Well, if somebody finally moving on to, take a position somewhere else where they had somebody above them that was more in line with their philosophy and their value hierarchy, then I guess. But I would do the same thing, and it's why I am gonna start going somewhere else.
Can you? No, I'm actually getting my head around what you're saying. Where did this dude? We'll call him like Racer X from Speed Racer a long time ago, cartoon character. Where did Racer X go to? And can you guys hang out with him at all?
Oh, I love the guy, but it's just like if you change departments at work, like there's just you won't when you spend more time, near your colleagues that you're working 40 hours a week with than you do your own wife and kids. And that's not quite the case with our spiritual family, but in the sense that the amount of influence that the leader has on the culture of the group, it's way disproportionate.
Yeah, no, well, that's what I'm dealing with. But we're actually dealing with the same thing. I'm just dealing with we're dealing with the same thing. It's just that you've had a good run. So the question is, how do you keep it running? And then you're just waiting to... Okay, I understand what you're saying. You're waiting to see who's the next captain of the ship and what kind of attitude they have with what you...
Well, and I mean, the 20 years has given me the perspective and the not just sort of courage, like in the same way that this whole conversation about being left unsupervised, our satellite being left unsupervised allowed for these really rich, deep relationships to be a security in my life that allows me to see the body as much bigger and more resilient than its like oblivious, incompetent, self-focused leaders. Like, because no matter where you go, you're gonna have wolves in the hen house. You're gonna have sheep, the goats and the sheep, and so like I'm not delusional that there's gonna be some pie in the sky solution, because no matter who it is, not only might they be flawed, but at least for a time, they're also going to be being trained and overseen by this other influence.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's probably healthy for anybody who thinks they've got it good at their church to still go visit other churches.
That's interesting. No, I'm not opposed to it, but I didn't see that one coming.
Well, whether you've got it good or bad, look, the Holy Spirit moves in like, why is it that we don't consider ourselves to be part of the same body? I mean, we are, and we ought to. But there's some aspect of participating in the rhythms of life together on a weekly basis that is like, oh, we're not just part of the same body, we're part of the same organ. Like, we're eyes together.
I'm sorry, Shane, you either do or don't do infant baptism, so we can't be friends anymore. Like, seriously though, that's...
We do infant sacrifice.
Oh gosh.
Whoa! And Shane going for the dark. We do infant sacrifices. You heard it here, folks. Here first. First, folks. That was all right. So, wow. All right, so that one.
But I don't know. That's just one of my own pet irritations. Is exactly what you're saying, Shane. Of like, why? Like, if the body of Christ is supposed to be one body, then why is it that? And like, I'm not trying to diminish the importance of making sure that sacraments are done correctly, because I think that there is actually a lot to be said for that. But at the same time, if somebody is trying to do right by their community, their church, their family, and they're doing it the best that they can given the understanding and information that's available to them. Like, why does that have to be, like, it's baptizing an infant or not is not on the same level as forming a Christian sex cult. It's like, why is it held on either the same or potentially even a greater level of egad, like, this is horrible, we can't associate with these people.
I come from this, I don't know if you've heard centered set and bounded set thinking, but I much prefer the centered set thought. And my way of approaching that recently is that as I was thinking through my dilemma and what it is that, I mean, other than like the sense that I'm following a divine command, I'm staying because I love these people, right? And like I said, I don't want to say that, because if God was like, you gotta go, I would mourn the loss and I would go. But I'm drawn to stay because I love the people. But there's this centered set thing that, well, I'll get to that. I realized that only the people who are of the Spirit are the ones who respond in kind. And so over the 15 years in this satellite that my wife and I have been investing, just broad net casting our love upon all that come around us, there have only been a dozen or so people who were like, yes, please, more. And I want to share and reciprocate in love with you. I want you to be a part of my life. You're a value to me. I care how you are doing. All that kind of relationship. And what I'm certain of is that we got to that level within months. Now it gets better and better and better over 15 years, deeper and deeper. That trust is more and more secure, and the ability to do the no-look pass and work together increases in depth and breadth over the years. So I don't want to say that we can get to where we are in 6 months, but I'll bet you within a month of fellowshipping with another group, I'd be able to point out the 12 people that I could live with.
Right.
And so if I did that, and I'm not saying like in an exclusionary way, I'm not going to stop also loving all the other people, but to find those people and let them know, I see you, you're one of us, and I'll die for that. They need to hear that. And the more of us there are, the broader we can see the body. And it's like the people that really are the sheep. And I hate to say that because it sounds like I'm prideful and calling myself a sheep, but
I'm the sheep.
But damn it, I'm a sheep. I belong to him.
So have you talked? Okay, and I understand where you're at. So I've seen this kind of community before, and I like it. Have you yet talked with your other friends and verbally, mentally, like circle the wagons, like do scenarios, like talk through?
Well, like you were talking about with your grizzled old friend, there are certain things like you don't tell your kids when you're struggling financially.
Correct.
You might tell them they're not going to have as big a Christmas this year, but you don't tell them why. You don't want to scare them. Everything's going to be okay. We're going to be fine.
Right.
And so we've told the people, because they are of value to us and they've been part of our prayer, they've been part of our agonizing. So like you're not actually close with people if they don't know what you're going through. So with the people that we're close to and we know they can handle it, they know. We've been talking about it. They've been praying with us. And what's weird is some of them are not as able to sort of compartmentalize it as we are. And so we have to be careful not to get them to where they're gonna burn it down.
Oh yeah, no, I gotcha.
It's
Okay,
not like
no,
we
no,
don't
no.
think about setting the place on fire sometimes, but but we keep being told hold,
Mhm.
and so we're holding.
You know, okay, I need to I need to repent. If God is talking to you, my job is to tell you, do what God tells you, and just, you know, ride it out. You know, if those are your marching orders this whole time, like this has actually helped me because I realize, I don't know, it's helped vent. You know what I mean? I'm not looking just to complain. I'm actually looking for answers. And this helps me organize what I'm going to do and not do. And, you know, the whole thing, if he says hold, do it. Nothing but good will come of it. It's only when I've acted against his will and surprise, it doesn't turn out well. But
I can't help but like imagine. I can't tell if there's anybody else listening, but can you imagine somebody listening to our conversation and being like, you know what I need to do is go find a church.
I honestly though, like,
what?
Okay, how many people are like thinking going into church, but like their perception is, oh, like they're gonna give a false impression of that everything's hunky dory because they just want me to tithe with them, and like they're not gonna be honest with me. They're not gonna be upfront that there's issues with the church, so I have to I can't trust them. And it's like, no, they're like, it might be a difficult thing for parishioner or leadership team or whatever to be able to be upfront about certain things, even with each other, not just the congregation, but they genuinely want to be. Like, I think that hearing that would be very helpful for certain kinds of people, of like, oh, they're not just gonna blow smoke up my butt. They are actually struggling with their own stuff, and they do want to help everybody. That would be my takeaway, at least.
I never thought about that. That's interesting.
I don't know who's famous for saying that, like, that they wouldn't want to be a part of any church that would have them as a member.
Groucho Marx.
Groucho Marx. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, alright. Yeah, so, yeah, it's a fine line between performing surgery, trying to figure out a problem, and just complaining. And I don't think we're complaining, because I know that, you know, we're not.
Well, you're not saying that things are bad just to gripe about them. You're saying things are bad, and how do we fix them? Like, it's with the focus and intent of.
There's a lament and a remorse.
Yes.
It's a mourning.
Yeah, it's not a. And this is how we're gonna go get this guy and make him pay. Like, it's not negatively oriented.
Yeah, no, I've already. You know, it's funny. The last time I said this is how we're gonna get this guy and make him pay, it was me on the gallows. I'm like, you know, I'm serious. I've learned a hard lesson. It's you know, it's funny. If I would have just kept my mouth shut, oh my gosh, I could have been a spiritual bazillionaire. But here we are. I'm like the manna's fine, you know, quail's fine, not complaining, water from the rock, but it's tough. You know, it's interesting when you really imagine Peter, James, and John after Judas. Like, Peter denied God. Judas sells God out. He goes, kills himself. And then you got the other
pretend, hide it. You know, so
I want to pitch something to you. You
Alright.
you know the whole reference to the manna. I mean, obviously, manna sounded like it tasted pretty awesome, right? But like, you know, the prodigal son brother thing, and he's like,
Yeah.
"You never threw me a party. You never killed no fatted goat." Like,
right?
but the whole lesson from both of those is like, you know, you could have just asked me for some cucumbers or some, like, just ask for what you want. I'll give you so much quail, it's coming out of your freaking nose. Like,
Right.
just ask.
Well, that's the
And
Right.
and so I,
when somebody who's in that position is complaining that bitterly, what I don't think they're understanding is, like, when the prodigal son returns, like, we're gonna have a big party and celebrate for him, but the amount of benefit that he's receiving in a short period of time does not even remotely compare to the amount of benefit that being the faithful son has over the longer period of time. It's just not as flashy. It's not as grossly immediately apparent.
well, and it's not even realized if you're doing it out of obligation. If you're doing it because you own it and you love it and you believe in it, then you already own the whole farm. Like, everything I have is yours, son.
Yep. There's nothing that I can give you because it's already all yours.
So, okay, so I'm gonna try to throw a curveball here. And I'm gonna do a typical religious comment. Have you prayed about the next guy coming in? And have you prayed for the orcs to be influencing in a negative way? And me calling them orcs doesn't really help. So, but here it is. And you know, have I prayed for my pastor? Once in a while, but not as much as I've complained. So that's on me. And I think, have you prayed for the upcoming person coming in? That, you know, hopefully that, you know, you can put in your request. Like, God, last guy was good. Would you bring us another one? And what is it? I'm trying to flush something out here.
Well, I'm careful to pray. I know that it's important to, you know, pray bold, audacious prayers.
Yeah.
But I think that my view of the possible is very limited.
Right.
And so I think praying for God's will to be done can be a cop-out.
Yeah.
But I
agree.
think that at very least we have to open and close with that in case my imagination of what is possible is limiting. Because I don't want to be disappointed that I got what I asked for and God was like, I was going to give you something beyond your imagination. And instead you just kept hammering away at this thing that you thought you wanted. So go ahead.
Okay, so let me go with this. I would say, don't sweat it. Don't sweat your prayer, because actually, that's like saying to a kid, or a kid saying, "Dad, can I not go to school Friday?" And the dad goes, "Yeah, you can take off school Friday. And if you'd only asked me to go to the amusement park as well, we would have gone, but since you didn't ask, we're not going." Whereas the father, who knows the heart of the child, goes, "By the way, not only are you going to have off Friday, but we're going to the amusement park." I do see God that way.
Yeah, amen.
So don't,
Amen.
yeah, so don't sweat it. And I think I've been negligent in the conversation. I think prayer
for both of us would probably be the right course of action. And that might be something that you can take to your other friends that are, the greater circle, that wouldn't flip them out. You're not saying what problems you think might be happening. You're just letting them participate in the solution. And I've seen prayer being way too effective not to suggest it. As much as my community can be bat crap crazy, and it really has been, I've also seen dumb truck fools of miracles. That's the problem with my place is, like the real one. I'm talking the good old-fashioned come out of your wheelchair, or blind eyes be open, or cancer be gone. So, and also I found out it's not the prayer of any kind of anointed person, quote unquote. It's just the prayer of anybody who's like, God, I could really use your help right now. It's just an honest heart from me. So anyhow, said all that to say, and I think maybe for both of us, it might be the most reasonable solution if you got hold and I really don't have any answers at this time. Like, what the heck? Give it a whirl. So let's see what this thing can do. Lord, hi. It's me again. Can you help a brother out? I don't know if that's a cop-out. You know what I mean? I don't know how that sounds.
I don't really think there's any way that you can go wrong with petitioning God. I think that there is like I said, there is a chance that we would develop a specificity that would lead to our own disappointment, and I think that that's a little bit of a challenge. But I also agree with what you're saying about God knowing us and working within our zone of proximal development. So I unfortunately have to go. I've appreciated your interaction.
Yeah, Shane, thanks for letting me rant at you and getting your...
Anytime.
Thanks for letting me... I dug around, and for what it's worth, I will be throwing out some specificity on you guys' behalf. And if you could bend the knee, so to speak, on my part, just to keep... I think maybe I should just keep my mouth shut and pray mercy for everybody. That might be the winning gambit at this in this moment. So yeah, no kidding. Like I'll be throwing them out for you.
I don't have Discord if I can't tell if he left or not. I'm assuming yes.
No. I see him. I think he's still here.
Okay.
Shane, be blessed. Be specific. Tell God what you want. He likes it. But if you don't, I will. Because I'll remember.
And Ron will pray for you.
Oh, dude. Like a junkie looking for drugs. I'm telling you. I'm going to score something. I'll try. But no, I don't know if that one sounded right. That sounded a little...
You might have gone a little over the board there, but that's okay.
I realize I like to destroy my reputation always, everywhere. I think it's... I think that's the reason I liked Grimm immediately.
Hmm.
Like at first I thought, okay, this is artsy fartsy. No, I was digging that.
Mm.
But then I'm like, wait a second, he's a class clown, and he's the smartest one in the class.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to throw me off the scent. This ain't happening. And he really destroys his what is it? I think it's the facade.
Mm-hmm.
It's really joyfully not burned, not just burned. It's like a sledgehammer. It's like bludgeoned. It's murderized, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite Grimm moments. We were at the Northwest Estuary.
Mm-hmm. No, Midwest. You weren't at Northwest, were you?
Midwest.
Midwest, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
It's like I would have remembered that.
Yeah, I know, no. Just one of those estuary things. Yeah. So, and they had the panel discussion up there going, and they were talking about somebody, and Grimm, and it wasn't bad, but it was
magical character.
I don't know. I don't remember. All I remember is Grimm grabbed the mic. He's up there. He goes, "I don't feel comfortable talking about them right now because they're not here."
Yep.
Dude, his integrity is so
That was not just integrity.
Well, I don't know what it was, but I liked it.
The person, it was Nathan Ormond who was the subject, and Grizz is not a fan, and so did not want to continue talking about Nathan Ormond, and saying I don't want to talk about somebody while they're not present it's partly a politeness thing, and then it's also I am letting you know that I do not care for this person, and I would like to change the topic of conversation now, please.
Well, okay, all right. Well, that adds a lot, dude. Okay, that adds a lot of context. All right. But I've seen him in other situations.
Mm-hmm.
I think what it is he speaks his mind.
Yes. He will do so in a way that's not necessarily obvious to onlookers if they're not aware of whatever the context is, but that he does not pull punches.
Yeah. Yeah. Did I can't see my phone. Who left? Because
I'll pull it up the next time I die, because it's probably going to happen again. Also, Slasher's out in the audience. If you have any suggestions for how I'm supposed to dodge his freaking flame sword, I would love to hear them. Because I am struggling.
Struggle bus.
Yeah.
Here comes the struggle bus. So, anyhow, like I have a few friends in my life. Actually, it's the girl who brought me to faith, Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
She is so blunt. And so it's like teeter-totter quick. Like you push one end, the other one comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not always bad. It's also for fun stuff, too. And that's part of but she's very consistent and has integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoy that in people. And that's one of the things. Why did I get on this rant? Because it was about Nathan, I think, in this conversation. Because I was talking about me destroying my reputation.
Mm-hmm. Making a habit of destroying your reputation so that way people don't improperly lionize or...
Yeah.
It's not messianize, but like profit, like, make someone into a prophet that they're not.
Yep. And also, you know what? Man, I'll be honest. I know one prophet, and he's a buddy, but he's about as mature as a 14-year-old.
Well, I'm guessing that he has the capacity to engage in more mature things, but one of the things that I like, I was a child. I gave up things that were childish when I grew up, including the notion that I had to act like an adult all the time.
Oh my god! Oh, that's hilarious! Oh god, dude, I need to clip that and brand that on me. Oh my gosh, that's brilliant.
I think it's technically like a
love that.
misquote or like a paraquote from an original, but like I like that one a lot better because it is sort of the like child's notion of what it means to be an adult, that you have to be super duper serious all the time. It's like, no, you really don't.
That's exactly it. I think that's it. I think, oh wow, I hope that's it, because I think the underlying thing that I do and like, it's like, dude, I like stupid. Give me some Three Stooges. Give me Larry, Curly, or Moe, or what's another good one? I don't know, but it's like, yeah, there's time. Yeah, I'm shaking my head like, oh my gosh, when I meet a quote unquote adult, I gotta go. I need to run. Like you're gonna, the fun is gonna get sucked out of the room, and I think, I know kids liked Jesus.
Yep.
This is back in the 2,000 years ago when kids were just, I have no, but they were less than women, you know what I mean? Like they were just, and if they liked you, you must have been a cool dude. And I think that's what a real adult is. And okay, so now that it's so late, nobody's gonna be watching, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
Don't always count on that. There's definitely people who do watch through, but
well, okay, but at least no one from my church
that's
is
fair,
ever gonna
yeah.
hear that. I see most, I think Catholic and Protestant, I don't know it about Orthodox, but more so Protestant churches are run like businesses. The smaller churches are owner-operated by one family, and every pastor that owns the church is the Pope until they die or give it over to someone they bequeath it to. And that's sad, I think, but I wonder if this is how it was back in the day, even with Jesus. You know, if there's nothing new under the sun, you know, that's what the Old Testament says. That means, really, this isn't a new issue. This is just an old, this is just the same story being played out.
Well, the really interesting thing to me for that is you get a really difficult situation where you'll have somebody who genuinely is intending to do right by others, but because of ignorance or not fully understanding the motivations of the people around them or that they've surrounded themselves with, that they can get quickly pulled into a bad situation that allows their authority to be used by somebody else in a nefarious way. And if the person, if that person isn't aware that that's what somebody else is trying to do, then it can very quickly go badly for not just the target of whoever the bad things are, but like the whole community can suffer because of it, because that person has shown that they cannot be trusted with the authority that the community is trying to give to them.
Right. I'll be honest, I see that more than anything. Well, I've only met one straight wolf, like evil wolf.
Yeah.
And they went to prison. And then I've seen some other, I guess my buddy who got the babysitter pregnant, he'd be a wolf. And, no, that's a wolf.
It is, but like what you heard was not what I meant it to be, but also like people don't like people don't know what their motivations are or who they really are until they are confronted with temptation in a lot of cases. And it's really difficult. Like, if they do lean into it, if they do dive deeper, then yes, I would say they're absolutely a wolf, 100%. But I think that there's times where people do a bad thing and are horrified with themselves and disgusted with themselves. And like those people, they're still reachable, but they're also very dangerous. And so it's like, it's very difficult to handle those kinds of situations.
Okay, no. I agree with you there. Okay, no, that I understand and agree with you. That's, I'm just, okay, yeah. Now that's...
Like if a guy gets targeted by somebody or by a woman at work because she's very attracted to him, and he engages in adultery because of that, and like wasn't really thinking about like I don't know, that one of the things that Kairos, Mrs. Pilotson, and I talked about quite a bit before we got married was like circumstances under which we could potentially see infidelity arising.
Okay.
And so what I think a lot of people don't have in their mind is this possibility of like they say to themselves, oh, I would never do X bad thing or Y bad thing. And it's like, if you think you would never do that you can't imagine any circumstances under which you would potentially be a sinner, you do not have a good enough imagination, and you need to go back to the drawing board.
Right. All right, so I don't want to rabbit trail because I know my mind. All right, what are we talking about? Help me stay focused.
So,
because
like for me and Kyra specifically, like the way that somebody oftentimes will get into a situation where they are tempted to cheat is because of whatever issues going on in the relationship already, where one person or the other person is becoming resentful, and then the other person doesn't feel like they have a meaningful way of communicating that frustration, and like basically I'm like, one person feels unloved, and then they start to find that the love that they're seeking from their spouse from somebody else.
Yes. Okay, now that I get. I understand that.
And so it's kind of be aware that is something that can happen, that like through a marriage, one or the other person can not live up to their responsibilities, and it's incumbent upon you both to not let yourself fall into that, and then also to recognize when your spouse might be falling into that, so that you can help them to get back out of it again.
Now, how did we get on this one? Because it's a good conversation, because I can rabbit trail all over the place. But
we were talking about how to handle church family difficulties, and I'm not sure where from there.
Well, I think I was talking with, was it Brent that was on there?
Oh, no, Shane.
I'm trying to remember.
Shane.
Yep. Okay, thanks. Okay, because I see, I'm kind of tethering backwards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I'm seeing it all. And I do, actually, I think what you're talking about when you and your wife talked, that's kind of like what I was hoping he would do with his his friends in his community. But it sounds like, I don't know why, but they're too weak to deal with it, or he didn't want to scare them.
Because I don't, like, he very clearly did not want to go into too much detail with things, but without going into too much detail about certain things. Somebody did a bad thing, and then the reaction of the leadership was not appropriate for
It's
that. They
cool.
basically tried to cover up the bad thing rather than dealing with it because the person who did the bad thing was in a position of leadership in the church. And so it was going to have legitimacy problems, and then there's also probably the aspect of like, oh, I know this person, they would never do such a thing, that kind of.
Right.
So.
All right. And I don't know if I'm just jaded now because of the years of war in church. I'm like, all right, so somebody boinked somebody, and I'm guessing someone wasn't married and someone else was. Because if two single people are getting it on, they're like, you crazy kids, you go back to the,
Without
go to
going into
confession.
any more detail, consent issues.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, that's felony.
Yep.
No, see, now you're talking my turn. Actually, that will cue the banjos, boys, load up the truck and use the banjos. Does that paint the picture?
I mean, yes.
Okay, does it work? Because I'm working my comedy out with you now, so I don't get all frustrated.
I would really like, if it was possible, to trust the government to properly use its monopoly on violence, but it is becoming more and more apparent that they are not going to properly exercise that monopoly. So, and I don't really like what comes next if that continues to be the case.
Oh no. Okay, so don't cue the banjos. Don't load up the trucks. So, all right, but I just needed to get it out of my system without cutting. Because that's bad. Because I'll just simply say the word "that's bad." That's evil. Actually, I'll say that's evil. Oh wow. Oh dude. Because I've been around stories. So here we are. Okay. Oh no, dude. That can go atomic.
Yep.
On detonation, and that I hate to. And I'm running this by you as a question. I'm like, nah, dude. If they were being shady, it needs to go. You detonate. I might be wrong, but if someone got hurt and you covered it, that's a felony. Like, no, because otherwise you are cueing the banjos and the trucks will get loaded up, and then you get another felony. So, that's pretty jive. And so the community is actually, there's a couple options. It gets hidden. Like I can't, it gets hidden. Then the victim, like has the police been involved properly, can, like that's always like, well, then you have obstruction of justice. I don't know. I can get all kinds of in the weeds on this.
Yep.
I don't want to.
The bigger issue was like if you have a situation where somebody does do something bad like that, you would hope that the people who are in charge, who have leadership positions and authority, that they would act accordingly and that they would not be shady about stuff.
But I need to do my thing, right? If I may, because I'm gonna tee one up. And give me a second. Short time. Lord, someone has been hurt. We pray that you heal them. Oh my God. Lord, this is something, you already know something bad has happened. And I don't know how to pray for this. I don't understand the proper way. Other than I don't understand how to pray for this. There's gotta be a way. There's always a proper way. It's never complicated. Something bad has already happened, and I'm asking for your help with whoever, first off, whoever is hurt. I speak to the hurts in their heart, in their mind and body. Be made whole. Lord, that those that have been victimized are healed. Lord, that they are holy, pure, and clean. That you would deliver them from evil and trauma and any kind of demonic activity because of this in their life. I bind it up. Lord, that you deliver with love, your presence. You would shine a light in darkness. That you bring people of comfort into their lives, and that you would raise them up in love, or help them, Lord. What's going on? Loving people into the life to bring healing, and then draw them to you through this. Oh, okay, got it. Draw them through this to you, to receive you into their hearts in a healing way. That you minister healing through this to it, to overcome it. And Lord, the rest of the stuff, straighten it out in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Sorry, that was.
No, you're fine.
Okay. That one was a little tricky. That was a little tricky. But anyhow, I was feeling vengeful, and I'm like, okay, that's it. That's not good. I know. It's fun. Oh, vengeance is so much fun. Dun, da, 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 and then like rods, like you get the double-edged axe out, put on the helmet, and then God's like, really? Is this how we're gonna play? I'm like, no.
You know better.
All right.
You know this isn't gonna. This isn't gonna help the people who are hurt, and this isn't gonna stop anything from happening in the future necessarily. Well, sometimes it does. Like that's the one thing too is like I don't think that like vengeance as a motivation isn't good for sure, but I don't know.
No.
I think there's more of a place for violence than what is, and like not that it should ever be the first resort or ever something that should be like your go-to. Right. Like the goal should be to heal. The goal should be to help others to love others.
Exactly.
But you're going to come up against wolves sometimes. And
no. I totally agree with you. What I think for me, like, okay, my history with God and anger and bitterness and the want of violence caused me to get a demon in my life. Like a straight up real demon. For a couple of years too. And I'm like, oh wait, and at first you can deal with it, and then after a couple of years you're like, okay, this sucks. And then after a while you're like, okay, I was wrong. For me, I know, like, and I love what you said. It's about healing first.
Well, it's about healing them, and it's about preventing it from happening to somebody else again in the future.
True.
Like those are the kind of like main metrics to look at.
No, I like that. And I think
and it is, if we look at ourselves as like in the in the army or military,
Mhm.
you got. I would be I'm made to be a medic. I'm not made to hold the bayonet because I want to for everybody. You know, like, but they're like, no, just give them some gauze and teach them how to tie a tourniquet because, or maybe not even that because I might strangle someone. But
I'd hope not.
no, but you know what I mean. My nature, I like because I've been. You know what's funny? It's all right. So here's the deal. At first, when I first met God, I was incredibly loving. Like I mean, like Ave Maria's playing, walking on water, and then I go to the quote unquote underworld because of my unforgiveness, and I think I have to if the right buttons are pushed, buddy, there's a part of you that comes out that you're like, oh no, like this isn't good. Like the conditions have been met, and I've been there, like where, and it was just simply pain, physical and spiritual, and I'm like, oh wow, there's a whole other side of me. I realize why God doesn't answer every one of my prayers because I'm dropping bombs all over the place, but
I have some real desire for vengeance in my heart, and it's not good.
Well, but here's the thing: if you recognize it, that's, I think, that might be 90% of the battle.
Yep.
That's because the Bible says, "Be angry, but sin not." So being angry isn't a sin. Now manifesting it properly and processing, that's the tricky part.
Yep.
And I think, and because I've seen so many, because I do understand that our prayers are powerful. And I know I love talking trash. I absolutely, with you and everyone else. But I realize there's a time when our prayers, if you say the right thing at the right time, it's like the tumblers of the universe align and good things can happen. And it's cooler than vengeance. That's, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but you'll see when you request something, to restore somebody or whatever, you know what I mean, something bad, and then you see God come through. It really is pretty sad. It is quite satisfying. And I realize also the reason I don't need to ever take a vengeance is he's like, boy, trust me. No, he's not even threatening. He's like, he's an accountant. Like, there will be a reckoning.
Well, the thing that I've also come to the understanding of is that it's very rare that, as somebody who is trying to experience the world through love, like, you don't need to do anything. Like, it might not be in this life, but it might very well be in this life, because when people are doing naughty things to other people, usually what will happen is at some point they will pick the wrong mark. They will target somebody who they should not have targeted, and then they will get the full force of whatever leveled against them.
Yeah.
So you don't need to worry about dealing that damage. You can just flag that, and it will get taken care of at some point, and probably not even in a way that you would want to, but
exactly. And I have seen, like, okay, the guy who got the babysitter pregnant, I saw God deal with him and his family. Dude, it was exponential.
Yep.
It was I almost thought it was uncool, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yep.
it really is. It's yeah. It's like, wow, okay. That's part of the, and also my own experience. I realized, oh my God, I just had a dumb moment. Like, Jesus on the cross is the best example. He's like, he took the hit and painful. Like, he took the beat and quote unquote lost everything. But because he didn't fight back, not only did he get a reversal on that, but he got it for everyone else too, if they choose. So, and I like the note. Okay, so when we prayed for that person who got hurt, I know something was happening. Rarely is prayer confusing to be honest with you. This one was at first. It was real murky. And I like that we got through it because the outcome, dude, it's so basic. It's so God. Like, oh yeah, healing for the person who got hurt. Duh. Like, yeah. Way to go, McFly.
Good that you finally figured it out. Good job, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And if you can get at least a good job, I guess, from God, that's not a bad day. That's like, okay, it's like the one time Peter doesn't go for the sword. You know, I'm sure after that moment, there were probably other moments in his life where, you know, somebody did something, like they crucified him upside down. So, but before they got there, I'm sure there was a moment where he's like, nope, we have the sword in this one, we're going to let it go. And I don't know, I think it brings out my thoughts. I see Peter as a leader, and it's when you learn not to respond, and when you not respond, I think that's as much as there's something deep about that. Maybe it's like the negative of film. You know, the not responding also reflects the positive.
Well, it's more that you have to understand what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Because if what you're trying to do is bring about a world where love and peace and hope and goodness prevail, you can't, like, you have to be careful about what you're bringing into the world, even as you are trying to, like, righteously leverage violence and vengeance and justice against another person, right? It's somebody who has hurt somebody else. Like, you want to righteously do that, but at the same time, just the mere fact of engaging in that kind of a thing, like, that's enough to potentially cause way more damage than you were expecting in the first place.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And so you have to be very mindful of that calculation of, like, is it actually worthwhile for me to cause the damage that I'm going to need to in order to make this thing right in that way?
Right. Yeah. Okay. So let me tell you something that made me feel nervous about this last prayer. 20. I don't know if you heard me speak in tongues when I was praying. I think I couldn't quite tell. It was having a hard time hearing. Okay, so.
But you were speaking in tongues?
Yeah, and it wasn't on purpose. It kind of kicked in because I was at a loss for words. And when I'm at a loss for words, for me, that's when it happens. The
the last time this moment reminded me of 20 some years ago, where I first got the gift of tongues, and I was prideful. And I was praying for people, and I thought I was hot stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was so soon after that that I got hit with the demons, because I had pride. And just now, I feel like it reminded me of that moment, because the tongues kicked in. But I realize now it is our outcome that we were searching for, which is the healing for this person, that makes me incredibly happy. That, I think, is, if you have a target like that and you can't lose, because at least you tried. And the cool thing is, if you have a heart like that, a target, a telos. Is that telos the correct word to use at this point? Okay. If you have a telos of love, you can't lose.
You can't lose the war. You can absolutely lose battles.
Oh yeah, no, you're gonna. Oh no, don't get me wrong. Oh no, you're gonna die.
That's the problem. Is that that's the thing. Is you are going to die. That's what it means.
Yeah,
there.
you are going to. Oh, trust me, and it could be bad. It might be.
It might be extremely painful when you do.
Yeah, but it's gonna be awesome on the other side.
Yeah, the reason I make that point is that I feel like that's a misinterpretation that a lot of people end up having, is that they hear, just believe it, everything will be okay, and it's like, yes, but no. Like, you might get eaten by lions. Let's
you will. No, trust me.
No, not every Christian gets eaten by lions, but there have been quite a few who have.
No, my opinion is every Christian gets eaten by a lion. If it's not physically, it could be worse, and it could be emotionally.
Okay.
Or there's always a lion. I'm goofing on you now. Right.
There's always a lion.
There's always a lion.
Inside of you, there are two lions. One is scrawny and underfed. You should probably take care of it.
Actually, you want the scrawny and underfed, because that way at least it's quick.
Because he's really hungry.
Lion. Yeah, exactly. No, it's the fat lion who wants to play. That's.
I've got plenty of stuff in me, so I can just have a good old time.
Yeah.
Bat.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, I think. So, for me, it was interesting. Because what I realized, this has been, at this moment, I just realized how serious this conversation was. Because I'm like, man, and I appreciate you kind of let me know a little bit more. So, that's enough said of that. Did you just die again?
Well, and I understand that Shane probably doesn't want to broadcast personal stuff on the internet, and I don't want to mess with his wishes on that front, but it wasn't gonna nothing I was gonna say was gonna make sense without that context, and I didn't know how else to handle it, and I hope that you can forgive me if that was an overstep.
Here's the thing: at this point, this conversation never happened. So now that
just delete it off the internet after we're done tonight.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't do that.
Wouldn't bother.
There's
cool.
strong reasons why I don't do that.
No, that's cool, but at least for his sake, I'm saying he's gone. But now, with that out the way, for me, I think, and man, I'm only gonna say this in front of you. I think you're gonna understand what I'm saying. I think I can say.
Wait, do you actually want me to delete this after this?
No, 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 no.
Okay,
Not at
I
all.
was like,
No.
are you about to say
no,
something that
I'm
I
just-
actually need to make sure I delete this bot after we're done?
No, I am, but I work for the Central Department of Agriculture, and no, I don't want to say
He's a
anything.
cheese
goofy,
guy.
but
He works in one of the vaults.
I'm the. That's it. But for me, like this conversation is now this person, and I really don't need to know much of anymore. Like they're now stuck in my head, but it's in a good way. I'm not stuck with the problem. I'm not stuck with vengeance. Ah, okay, this is interesting. This conversation was going to be stuck in me one way or another. But because it's healing, it's a light conversation and a joyful one.
Yes.
It's going to sound odd. Okay, you got it. Okay, because you understand. Because
Well, because that's
I
the
think-
desired outcome. Is not like it's not about the other person, like as much as
Vengeance.
as there ought to be punishment for certain things. It's not like that's not what the focus should be in that kind of situation.
Okay. Right. Okay, so at my church, when everything went sideways and the principal messed with the girls, I realize now. Okay, I got a story for you. I realize now that it was the girls who should have been swarmed to and ministered to.
Maybe not swarmed. I
no,
think
no,
when you're in
but
that kind
I
of a
mean,
situation
yeah.
that you don't want that level of attention.
You're right. No. I'm trying to say the focus of everybody and should have been for the healing of the girls.
Yes.
Whatever that. Okay, so that. I'll give you it's interesting because I just realized this conversation went well, and I will be praying for this person. But this was actually maybe 2 years ago. I went to a church, and it was a youth group, and they were doing some sort of prayer thing in worship. Oh, that's right. It was a prayer and worship gig, and it was a special closed. It was like for kids only thing. It was for the youth of Fellowship of Christian Athletes and a lot of youth. But I'm part of I work with them a lot, so they invited me, and it was cool. And actually, it was wherever's worship at, the guys know I'm going to show up, and they're cool with me. And then all of a sudden, I catch wind that in this church, they just recently had a youth pastor mess with one of the girls. And you know me, I'm picking up stuff in the congregation, and it was one of the moments where, okay, so we're in the middle of this, the worship's going good, everyone's having a good time, and the girl that had been victimized walks back in to the worship service for the first time, like it had been months since they seen her, and all the kids just rushed her and hugged her. And it was like being licked by 1,000 puppies. It was just, everybody was crying. And it was perfect. And, actually, when she came in, I didn't understand it. Okay, because I'm remembering this live right now. So I see there, and I'm walking out, and that's when I find out that there was a scandal and that she was the one hurt. And there were these ladies, there was like 4 older ladies standing in the back and they fill me in. And I just looked at them and I said, you guys are going to be okay. And they're like, what? And I said, you know, one, there's nothing but love in this place right now. And I said, it is your strength. Because these ladies were like, they were like standing like oaks, not like stodgy and, you know, dead, but like, you ever meet older ladies that have so much dignity, they're like iron?
Yep.
Oh, okay. That was them. Very kind, too. And I just looked at them and said, they're going to be okay. I said, and they looked at me, I'm like, yeah. I said, you guys, like, you ladies are okay, and they'll draw their strength from you. And they're doing okay. And they just looked at me, and they were like, they just said, thank you. And I felt a little nervous. I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm just saying my opinion. And they're like, it gave them, I think it gave them hope. But not just hope, I was just reflecting what I was seeing in them, and it was affirming it. And and that's, if I can do that, I've done a great job. Not like I'm great, but that the integrity of the ship, the hull is solid. There are no leaks. They will float. They'll be okay. That's what love does. You might have a weld patch or a dent. You can see that was there, but there's no hole. And I think sometimes, I don't know, maybe it's not even a dent, or like you actually want it so you can't even, not that you ignore it or deny it, it's just that it doesn't affect you. And because of love. Because vengeance, it's fun to hold on to, but it consumes you until it's like lightning discharge.
Yep.
But even then, it's not satisfying.
No.
It's just more blood or more destruction. And I wonder in Shane's life, and this is just me asking your opinion. I'm of the opinion, like, you start talking to people, you're like, dudes, it's about to hit the fan. Like, I'm not feeling that for Shane or his community, but just what I've been in life, like, dude, you try hiding stuff for a while. I don't know. It usually doesn't wind up.
No.
Nothing good comes of that.
No.
You gotta clean the wound out. You gotta pop the zit, or however you want to put it. Otherwise, I think that's where spiritually it can get muddy, like the dirty needle thing. It's a hidden sin, and usually that kind of stuff, dude, I just shake my head no, like, I don't know, it's something, that's like wait a second, who wrote The Telltale Heart? Edgar Allan Poe? Yeah, that, you start hiding stuff, I think Edgar Allan Poe gets to come out of the closet and go, oh, wait a second, I can work with this. Like, this is one of my stories now. You're in my territory. And actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, unconfessed sin, that is actually a doorway for the bad guys. All right. I just don't want to pray, Lord, bust them. You know, I don't know how.
Fuck them up, God. Fuck them up for me.
Wow.
That's pretty. Can I pray that? Am I
No,
allowed?
no, that is not a good
Okay.
prayer. That is a curse.
See, now that's the problem. Okay, see, sometimes when I'm hanging out with you, I'm like, that's not so bad. That's kind of fun.
No.
Wait a second.
No.
Wait, no. Afriel told me I can do.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
It's kind of fun though. It's like, wait a second. Do you ever see what was that one movie where aliens came and they were totally? It was in South Africa, and there was a ship hanging over South Africa, District 9 or 13 or whatever. It was the guys were. Anyhow, they had these exosuits that only the aliens could wear. This guy was being transformed into an alien partially. Like his right hand could hold one of their rifles, and it threw lightning. And when it hit people, it made them explode. I'm not cueing you into the movie.
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
Wait a sec. No, I'm just describing it poorly. It's not you. It's me. Hold on a second.
I may not have seen it either.
No, if you haven't, you need to see this. Wait a second. Hold on a second.
Also,
because
we can keep talking, Ron, but I kind of want to end the stream because I'm about out for the night. So before I do,
how about? Yeah.
Before I do, I want to. I think you and maybe Noah are the only ones here right now, so I'll end up posting this on YouTube publicly too. I want to start doing more stuff both around my house and on my boat, and it's really hard for me to do that when I have stream obligations in evenings, so I'm going to be putting a pause for probably the whole summer. If there's like bad weather or something, then I'll announce that I will be streaming, but it's going to be hey everybody, I'm going to stream, rather than hey, I'm not going to be streaming for the next couple of months. So,
dude, I'm bummed. I'll miss you and have fun doing what you need to do.
I'll still be around. I'm not like not going to be. I'm also trying not to be chatting on YouTube as much while I'm at work. So I won't be there, but I will. I'm not leaving TLC. I'm not gonna pop smoke here. I just want to make sure that I'm using my time well. And this is very valuable to me, but I also want to make sure that I'm making hay while the sun shines. So.
Yeah, no, totally understand. Well,
the boat over us. Gosh.
Yeah, I know. I tell you.
Sorry, guys.
Real life stuff. Oh my gosh. How sad.
I need to make a garden. I was working on some of it today. Was putting in bricks using mud as the mortar, which admittedly not terribly stable, but it should be fine enough. And like I want to be able to deconstruct it if I need to. So.
Well, I got a small favor to ask, and it's no obligation. Make small videos of your boat and or garden if you're cool with it.
Well, I kind of want to try and do like pull 10 to 20 minute clips of conversations out from previous videos rather than trying to do like Kintsugi cuts of a 3-hour stream is a little bit much because it usually takes probably at least twice that length of time to edit it down from that length to something reasonable. But if I can just go in and edit out like 10 to 20 minute chunks, I think that would be a little bit more digestible. So.
Right. Yeah.
And there's golden in their streams.
Pretty much. Yes, there is. Especially this last Cruciatus curse that you taught me, that I will always credit to you.
Only for good, Ron. Make sure you only use it against Palestinians. That's the only acceptable target.
Dude, no, don't you do that to me. Don't you.
Hey, you started it.
Oh, I did. All right, I repent. All right, no more. Yeah, never mind. Take all the fun about it. All right. I quit.
All right. We're going to go back into the green room. Everybody out, if there's anybody else still out in the audience, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you watching and playing along. And yeah, goodbye then.
Be safe, friends. Don't you dare go hollow. Have a good night.
No.
Good night, guys.